I like to have like a topic every time that I stream, and I have like quite a bit on my mind. I spent hours doing some stuff today. A whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of music related stuff. Where's my Let me grab my modular. I'm just going to show you what I did with my modular today. It's like a little baby. So this is the case that I built out today. And my plan is to do like, a bunch of techno with it. That's kind of the idea, house, techno, that kind of stuff. Dance tunes. And I think the system's going to cover it. And I just got this. If I can, wait, there we go. This finger's tapping it. The CV16 for the NerdSeek. NerdSeek I've had for a really long time. Big fan. Big fan of the NerdSeek. It is my favorite Eurorack sequencer. Highly recommend it. So the topic isn't that. The topic is Elektron, right? This is Elektron Talk. So we're going to talk about Elektron gear and what we have going on right now on the table is this. And hopefully it's not too dark. Everybody can see it. I can move this light over a little closer. Love that polycinematic. Yeah, it's cool. It is cool. You know what I really like about the polycinematic while you're mentioning it is, I don't know if you saw this, right here down at the bottom on the case, is this little cable here, is a little stereo cable, and it is the correct TRS kind of cable. There's TRS-B and TRS-A for MIDI, to communicate MIDI from the NerdSeek to the polycinematic. So I can actually I can use the polycinematic polyphonically via my NerdSeek with only one cable. And I think that's awesome. So NerdSeek's really easy to program chords and stuff on. Well, for me, at least. I mean, I'm familiar with trackers, so it's an easy workflow for me. Easier. I spent the last couple hours trying to learn the CV16, the expander for the NerdSeek. It was baffling me for a bit, but not anymore. Not any less is not anymore, just less. Okay, so what we have on the table here is the Octatrack, the Digitakt, the Syntakt, and the Digitone. So this is like pretty much the newest flagships from the Elektron. From Elektron, not the Elektron. From Elektron, I would say. I consider these flagship devices, even though they don't have individual outs. They all have overbridge, and I think that puts them in the flagship territory. They have stuff on here that is even better than the Mark II devices, I think. No analog heat right now, Jeremy Sneller. Not right now. That's sitting over here. Just because of room, honestly. I have 3 tables and I've filled them up. Also, I just move stuff around. I take breaks from stuff. Okay, well anyway, back to what I was talking about here. So I've been going through this thing, right? I like to design these performance templates using my Octatrack. And sometimes I use my Octatrack as a production tool, and I write music on the Octatrack too. But most often I use it as this central hub where I port all my, plug all my gear into and, play with the crossfader and design effects, which is what I'm working on today and what I'll probably be doing on the stream a bit, is designing some new scenes, or at least working on it. But I've been coming across this problem ever since I got the Syntakt. And the issue is, for me, is that the Syntakt sounds really great, and it's covers melodic territory and percussive territory so well that I'm having trouble deciding where it goes. So I only get 2 inputs here on my Octatrack, 2 stereo inputs, and so now I'm running the Digitakt into the Syntakt, into the Octatrack, and the Digitone is here on the left side, on the melodic side of things with my Octatrack's performance template. And the issue I'm coming across is that I have too many voices now. I feel like I'm not needing the Digitone as much because this does FM synthesis. Of course it's different. This is a, polyphonic synthesizer. But I think I might put something else here. Still another thing, but have this be like vocal samples. Maybe I'll just hit one of these for one shots. Like I could just be like, you know, do stuff like that. Just like actually trigger samples manually. You know, maybe dedicate 4 tracks to manual sample triggers. One could be like a noise or a crash or something. I don't know. You know, whatever I need it to be. Probably just a voice or something, or a riser maybe. Anyway, the problem is that I love the Digitakt the most. It's my favorite, and I love the Syntakt, but it's still not my favorite compared to the Digitakt. I'm enjoying the Syntakt more than I am playing with my Digitone now, just partly because it's new, but also because it has so much to offer and so many machines. I haven't even explored all the machines on it quite yet, like to their depth, because they can do a lot. But yeah, so this issue I'm having is songwriting now isn't as easy for me with this setup. And I have always had this rule of 3 machines. So the idea was Digitakt, it was either 3 machines, 2 machines, or just 1. Like never to go beyond 3. And as you can see, we have 4 here. And I haven't even programmed anything on the Digitone because all my music is already so full just using these 2, or even just using this one. So now I'm like, well, what sounds am I going to put over here? I've already got so much programmed on here. And yeah, so I'm just coming across some issues. I realize I don't have to use every track that's available on these machines. I can leave tracks blank, and I often do. But, you know, I prefer to use things to their full potential. And I'm having a hard time being able to do that. There's just too much now. I have too many tracks. We have 20 tracks between, or more than 20 tracks. Yeah, we have 20 tracks between these 2, and 8 MIDI tracks. And then we have 4 more tracks over here. So we have 24 tracks of synthesis or sample playback. And less is more. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy Sneller. And also mode phaser. I agree with you. Nothing will top the Digitakt. And I do think that if and when, and I bet they will, this is just my guess, when they add the keyboard fold to the Digitakt in the quantized note playback, because I don't know why they wouldn't. Like, they like to have all these things have the same feature sets, so they should. I actually noticed that one of the features that's on these 2 is not on here is the not remember subpage, but that global effects lock, or the global locking, so that you can have like some of these settings remain the same. You could have your global mixer stay the same, that kind of stuff. That doesn't exist on the Syntakt, and I actually really want it to, because I love the idea of like having the inputs always open, always set to this exact same level no matter what. And now I'm having to go in and program the inputs to the level I want on every pattern that I work with. So I got used to that with the Digitakt and the Digitone, and I would like to see it on the Syntakt as soon as possible, please. But really, I would like to see that keyboard fold on the Digitakt and with the quantized notes, and I would like to see keyboard fold over here. This already has quantized keyboards, but that keyboard fold is incredibly useful, and it really speeds up your music production by light years, in my opinion. Let's see what's going on with the chat. DT one-shots and drums on the Syntakt, bass, arps, and leads on the DT for atmosphere. So, like, you read my mind. Like, that's where we're at right now, is that exactly mode phaser. That was a comment from mode phaser, and I agree with that. So, it's just still a lot, and I just prefer. So here's the issue. This is the main issue, is that I want to be hands-on with these machines all the time. I want to be tweaking settings all the time, and the Syntakt's really, really good for this, because it has just these parameters. They're all little macros of these machines inside the Syntakt, so little tweaks to big adjustments, and it's a lot of fun. They still sound good, like they all stay in their lane, so to speak. The Digitone, there's some parameters you can tweak, and they will make big adjustments or whatever. But they're more sound design. Like they can really go nuts. You can go crazy on the Digitone. You can destroy your sounds really easily, and if you're not careful, you don't get them back the way they were. Of course, you just have to use your pattern saving and or recalling your patterns. As long as you take care of that, it's not such a big deal. But it's not as fun to tweak as the Syntakt is. And the Digitakt, while it has very few things that you can actually tweak on it to like actually make adjustments to stuff, still is my favorite. I don't know. I just love samplers. So I said this in my Discord, and I think that what I would do if I just had total disposable money, and sometimes I act like I do. I'm not gonna lie, I do act like I have disposable money sometimes when I really don't when it comes to gear. But I think I would take 2 Syntakts and remove the Digitone. And I mentioned that in the Discord, and someone commented that they didn't like that idea, but because it doesn't do melodic stuff as well as the Digitone. And to an extent, I agree, but I also don't agree, because the Digitone doesn't do any sort of analog synthesis at all, and this does, and it actually sounds pretty great. So I feel like I could have more voices that are analog, that are just not doing chords, or are doing paraphonic chords, because you can do that on the Syntakt just fine. Like this track here, paraphonic chords, or no, yeah. Let's check it out. That's all Syntakt. These machines aren't doing anything. So I would love more of those sounds. Those are sounds that I really vibe with. They're way more rock and roll to me, which is where I came from. And although I love like writing techno, minimal techno, and house stuff, these sounds, like, they speak to me more than an FM synth does on its own. So I feel like I could have more of this, but I'd never sell my Digitone, but I think I could have 2 Syntakts and a Digitakt, and I would be pretty happy with that. 1 Syntakt completely dedicated to melodic stuff, and then another one dedicated to drums. And I think that would be really cool. But also, I don't need to do that at all. I could just route. Well, what would I do? Yeah, see, I'm super stuck. I'm stuck in my mind about what to do here. Face melting. Let's see. I wish you could program and reload pattern on all of these with 1 click. Yeah. That would be so sick. Would you rather have Digitone and Syntakt go through the Digitakt for compressor, or put both DN and DT into the ST for the effects track? Now, I don't want to run external gear through the effects track of the Syntakt, unless I had to. If I had to, I would, because I use the effects track on the Syntakt for envelopes, like creating stutter effects on synthesizer sounds, and that's what I found to be the most useful for me so far. I mean, the drive is nice, analog drive is nice, but I can get drive elsewhere. I don't have to get it from the Syntakt with my setup. I could just take out the analog heat and run it all through there and warm it up. And it's better. The analog heat is better at doing drive anyway. Elektron knows what it's doing, yeah. Let's see. Can you hook up Isaac Knoll? What's up, Isaac? Can you hook up a Syntakt to an iPhone and run Dext or Animoog like you would with the MC707? I think you can add FM to the Syntakt like that. I could. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't like playing with touchscreens very much, unless it's the Steam Deck, and then I'm grateful that there's a touchscreen. But yeah, I don't know. It's not that it doesn't sound good. It sounds great, and there's no reason not to do it. So I have nothing but my own feelings towards, I want buttons and knobs, and so I'm not going to use a phone or an iPad for me personally. So man, just ordered the OP1 Field and TX6 mixer. Now gotta wait 2 to 3 weeks for them to ship. Did you dig Teenage Gear? I also ordered an OP1 Field. So yeah. And I just did that like a crazy man, and I was just like, all right, it's just beautiful, and I want it, so I'm gonna grab it. But I'm still like, there's time to return them if I change my mind. But yeah, I do like the Teenage Engineering gear. I think it's cool. I didn't use my OP1 very much. It was more like a utility if I needed something. I remember going to, when I was in audio school here in Washington, and people would borrow you for recording sessions. Like, that was part of their program. They needed to have some recordings done of other bandmates, and I would bring either my electric or acoustic guitar and my OP1 to all of these sessions. So anytime they recorded me singing and playing guitar, I always had my synthesizer there, and for that reason, I could never get rid of my OP1. But now that they've added stereo sampling and they made it 32-bit, you know what? They made it 44.132-bit. That is probably my biggest complaint about the new OP1 field. 44.132? Why do I want more dynamic range and not more sample rate? I mean, is that? I don't know. I thought that was strange. I know that 48 makes way bigger files, so they'd have to put a bigger hard drive on it. But yeah. Anyway, I don't have too much of an opinion about the OP1 field. That's a really controversial topic right now. People are pretty upset with Teenage Engineering. Is it possible to run the Digitone into a pedal that makes it sound more analog? Well, yeah, you can also make patches on your Digitone. Let me see here. Let me find let's find a reason why my Digitone isn't making any sounds first. What do we have going on with the Digitone? Where are you running to? You're plugged in, Mr. Digitone. Volume -9. How did that happen? And my through track and my neighbor track. Let's go to something a little more chill while I diagnose what's going on here. I hope you all just witnessed that. I literally had to restart my Digitone to get audio to come out from it. Another reason why I want a second Syntakt. I mean, the Digitone sounds great. So the point that I was trying to make just a moment ago before I got stuck trying to figure out what was going on is that you can get some pretty decently analog sounds out of this. And if you ran it into something like the Auto Bohm or an analog heat, you could kind of make it seem a little bit more analog, but you're never really going to get there. So the trick with going digital and trying to have something digital sound analog, make sure that this is to take a digital oscillator and run it into an analog filter. Now that is how things like, like FPGA synthesizers like Novation Peak and the Super 6 and so many synthesizers do this. They use digital oscillators, they run them in analog filters, and then you're really fooled because it's that analog filter that's really giving you that sound that you want. It's not always about the oscillator. So you can't really ever get super analog sounds out of your Digitone. You kind of can, but OP1 field or 2 Syntaks? Probably 2 Syntaks. Life is short and full when you can make it better with some more gear. Why not? Let's see. 44.1 is totally fine for human ears. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's what the Octatrack is. Absolutely. Why don't you use the OT for samples? Would allow you to clear out the DT. So this is a really good point. So will Will Kiefer says, why don't you use the OT for samples? So my first thing that I did when I got the Syntakt was play with it alone by itself so I could get to know it, which I recommend everybody does when they get a new piece of gear. But I took it and I ran it into my Octatrack, but then I set aside a couple of tracks on here for stereo sampling and for playing back stereo samples. And it is a wonderful workflow. Honestly, it might be one of the better versions. I think it's the Syntakt with the Octatrack, just the two of them, is probably one of the best versions. This setup right here is a bit much, I think, for what I like to do. So these two, very good. These three are perfect together. So this piece is what's causing me to have some trouble with my mix. Or not my mix, with my flow, with my workflow. The mix is fine. Poor Digitone feeling the neglect. Yeah. A mixer for ants. Yeah. It is. That mixer looks really, really tiny. It looks really cool. I mean, the tech's really cool. It's, it's a bit much of a cost, and it is really tiny, so not sure. It heard you talking about selling it. Yeah. Digitone has been a bit buggy since the last update for you. Oh, okay. Mr. Ravioli's back. What's up, Mr. Ravioli? I remember you last time. I guess you've been chatting for a while. I just realized that it was your name. For whatever reason, I love that name. You're welcome. You're welcome for that answer. My minimal kit would be an MC707 and an OT. MC707 and an OT? That's pretty heavy. MC707, that's a convoluted piece of gear, if you ask me. I'd say I'd rather learn the Octatrack than MC707. That thing is crazy. That Roland workflow, I have such a hard time with. Like, I really do. The MC707 sounds really good. It's got all of Roland sounds, which are like, 10 out of 10, pretty much every single one of them. But, man, had a hard time getting into that box. Did you feel Polyend is really getting stronger, kind of like the new Elektron? I don't feel that way, really. I mean, I like Polyend. I had the Polyend tracker for a really long time, and I liked it, and I am excited for the Polyend play. I don't plan on picking up a Polyend play, but I do plan on looking at it when it comes into the shop so that I can see, how it sounds, how it functions. I really like some of the features, a lot of places that they're going with it. I do feel like everybody's kind of just ripping off the Deluge at this point. Not ripping them off, but everyone's taking cues from the Deluge, and the Polyend play the most of all of them. I thought that when the hat packs came out, and now the Polyend play, and I'm like, wow, these really just look like, other versions of the Deluge. And I love the Deluge, so I don't know. I'd rather have a Deluge, I guess, even though I think the Deluge sound engine isn't very good. But I didn't really like the Polyend Tracker's sound engine as much either, so I don't know. I'm spoiled by the Digitakt, which sounds amazing all the time. Your minimal setup is OT only. That's where it's at. Can't beat a steel chassis. Plastic feels cheap in regard to Polyend versus Elektron. Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. My name is from an amazing adult cartoon called Max and Mary. Highly recommend. Okay, cool. I think I've seen Max. I haven't seen it, but I think I might know what you're talking about. They only added 0 cents. Yeah. Okay, let me do some, this is a lot of chat, and I love that. I love chatting. But I'm gonna dig into a little bit of the music I've been working on. Now that people can actually hear it. Last time I streamed, I had some of this music going, and it was pretty much silent. So I'm going to, right now the Digitakt is the pattern change master and master clock, as it always has been. Everything is following the Digitakt. Most of the music was written on the Syntakt. So some of these patterns don't show up as anything, but they're actually, that song, the ambient tracks over here. And this is all Syntakt. Nothing else is making any sound here. I think the Syntakt sounds amazing. Like, that sounds awesome to me. I love it. But this is the stuff I'm working on now. So let's start off. Let's see how we're gonna start the track out. I have this noise. One of the things I really love about the Syntakt is this noise engine. So you can start it up here. I have it being ducked in the effects track. think it's awesome. So I can bring this up. I feel like that kick drum. I feel like this kick drum has like a note that it's playing, which I wasn't able to hear through my speakers, and I'm hearing it through my headphones now. So we might want to tune it. I actually fixed it. Okay. All right, let's save that. I do love that when you save a project here, it doesn't like stop your project. The Octatrack stops everything when you load or save anything. It's such a pain in the butt. Okay, that's not how I want to start it. There we go. So I love that. Being able to bring the noise in like that, take it back out, unmute some stuff. Fun. I've been searching for different control alls on the Syntakt that sound really good. I haven't figured it out quite yet, because on the Digitakt you're very limited to what you can do with control all, but over here there's a lot. So let's play with that a little bit. I just did a temporary save, so now I can mess with this as much as I want. So this all sounds totally insane. Let's go back to where we were, because that was whack. Okay, here we go. Change some stuff up here. Do I have anything on here? Nope. a second. What's that supposed to be here? Copy pattern. Oh, wait a sec. Pattern 7. Oh, this isn't receiving pattern changes. Didn't know that. Stop it. Stop it. Sync. Pattern change receive is turned off. What a dingus. Let's get out of here. All right. We fixed our pattern chain problem. Pattern change problem. Yes. Okay. All right, let me catch up on chat because I know I just disappeared for like 10 minutes. I like to have some sort of synthesizer that isn't the OT pretending to be a synth, and I like velocity pads. Can't do just OT. I agree with you, Isaac Knoll. Isaac sub 37. Heck yeah, time for tunes. Yes. Moog bass is so deep. Mr. Ravioli says, I just want you to know now, after you said how much you like Syntakt with Octatrack, I only have OT. You planted a seed, brother. Okay, good. I think you'll be happy with the Syntakt. I think most people are. I did have a friend who got one and does plan to sell it already. I don't approve. That's for sure. Should be a great second box. Yeah, Digitone and Moog are heaven for simple grooves. So much fun. I agree. Man, I really can't wait to get my hands on one. So lush. Agreed. The pan is making me feel things. That's my plan. I love quality gear. Yes, agree. How your voice sidechains the music 10 out of 10 audio setup for explaining things on a stream. Hey, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, wow, there's so much. I can't read all this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna skip to where we are right now because there's a lot of dialogue. Guys and gals, and everything else. Yeah, I feel like this is where you come if you want to start to wrap your head around this gear. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always down to help. In many ways. Yeah, I also do, yeah, if anybody ever needs some help, you should join my Discord. There's links in the description of the video. There will be in the comment as well. I always pin a link there. Everyone's welcome there. It's a very wholesome Discord. We do a lot of chatting about gear. We're talking about Superbooth a lot there right now. But also I do private lessons if anyone's interested in learning these boxes to their potential, to their maximum. I think, I like to think I can do that. Maybe it's not, no? It's this screen I'm looking at, it's a little blurry. Yeah, so can somebody tell me if the audio was good for that? I don't mean like, was the music good? I mean, was the loudness level good? I hope it was. EZBOT done gone ham. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, okay. Have you noticed the clicky envelopes on the ST? Neil Guys says, I have noticed the clicky envelopes on the ST, and it reminds me of those clicky envelopes on the DN. That has been frustrating. That was frustrating. They got a lot better. They did a lot about that. But I have noticed the clicky envelopes. I think that they'll work that out. I don't know what it is. But I don't have them on my Digitakt at all. Again, love the Digitakt the most. Really do. I guess I don't know. It's like a battle between these two. Like, which one would you keep? Like Desert Island? Which one? I don't know. If somebody was like, you have to write all your music on one box and that's all you get, I'd probably write all my music on the Digitakt if I was making tracks and uploading them on the internet. But if I had to perform them all, I would probably want the Octatrack instead. And I would just deal with the limitations that the Octatrack has. Like its subpar reverb and delay compared to the Digitakts and all of these boxes here. Levels are good. All right, cool. That's what I'm talking about. Is there a way to hold a pattern mute from going off on the Syntakt, like holding function and mute works on the Octatrack? No. Not that I know of. I've never heard that. During nights off to chill. All right, take care, Mr. Ravioli. Is there... oh, you asked me the same question 3 times? Okay. The answer is no. No, no. 3 times for you. DT is more straightforward than for beat making. Yeah, I agree. Okay, that song I was playing that I was really like fleshing out, I actually was during it. I'm making this whole like argument for not using my Digitone, but I actually really liked what I was doing on my Digitone. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll just adapt to this. I do like it. It fits in the same spot under the camera, which is important for me because I do a lot of this for, on YouTube's where I get to express my music for everybody. Yeah, maybe I'll just have to just get good, as the Elden Ring players would say. Just get good, bro. I'll work on it. Finally made my way to the Discord. All right, my 4-track machine. Right on. That's awesome. Glad to have you. Why did you stop using the Polygon tracker? You know why I stopped using there's a bunch of reasons why I stopped using the Polygon tracker. I was a beta tester on the Polygon tracker, and when I started using it, didn't even have reverb or delay. It's hard to use anything with that. But I'm a tracker user, and I like trackers a lot. Got one of these suckers. I have 2 of these, actually. And I just like its workflow better. I also like my Nerd Sequencer's workflow better. The Polygon tracker only has 2 effects lanes per track. That's not enough, in my opinion, for my music, for my style of music. I also had a lot of clipping problems. I had a lot of gain stage problems. I don't want to steer anybody away from the Polygon tracker because I think it's a great machine, and I had a lot of fun with it, and I made some good music on it, no doubt. I really did like the performance, and I loved the performance grid where you could play those effects and dial that in. It was a lot of fun. And its song mode, while its song mode was good, its destructive nature was bad, and that was frustrating for me. I didn't want to use the song mode. And trackers, song mode's kind of important for trackers. Electron boxes, albeit that they are also trackers in their own right, don't need song modes. You can just play them out. The functions are there, the buttons are big enough, I don't know, it's easy for me to stay focused. But on other trackers like the M8, you want to write songs, full songs, and let it play out and do its thing, because it does it so well. And it's just so straightforward. Polygon tracker's song mode, every time you deleted a clip, you literally deleted your pattern. It was like, oops, I accidentally deleted a clip. I just deleted pattern 2. What was on pattern 2? I don't know. If you forgot to undo because you could undo on that, which is pretty cool. Not everything has undo, such as that OP1. No undo there. No tables on Polygon tracker. Yeah, yes, Robert. That's another good reason. No tables on Polygon tracker. So to build an arpeggiator, and while it had its arpeggiator function, it did have the arpeggiator function. But I'm used to on trackers building an arpeggiator from scratch, and it's just it's not hard to do. Once you figure it out, it's not too tough. But you know what? I do like the Polygon trackers, so buy one. Have fun with it. They're not expensive. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not it's not like an OP1 field. It's not like a Syntakt in terms of price or an Octatrack. These are, they're pretty expensive. OT when you crossfade over to the delay buffer and do a pattern change before you crossfade back over to a new pattern. Grab time on master delay track and twist. Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. And then you just do function reload part to go and have it go back to normal. Yeah, that's great. That's a great idea. Isaac, you've used my template, right? I think maybe you've been around a while, for sure. Well, I'm currently working on a new template, so I've given myself a deadline. It's the end of this month. I have 2 weeks to finish it. And this is the new template. That's what we're listening to. So the way it's going to function, I'll just tell everybody here. So here's how the Octatrack template works in the first place. Inputs A and B are percussion. Inputs C and D are melody. Right now, this stuff is doing melody and percussion, so it's going into inputs A and B. So this is kind of that's the dilemma that I was bringing up at the beginning of the stream. But so the template processes the two inputs separately for some of the effects, but for most of the effects, it's processing them at the same time. So I'm designing new effects around the concept of splitting your percussion and your melodic sides to two different sections. So you can build some really cool stereo stuff, like using dual filters and panning is one of my favorite new effects. It's not in this template yet, but it will be. It's from another one. And currently, so how it will work is you'll load up the template on your Octatrack, and you'll just go to pattern 1. There will only be one pattern. It will be bank A, pattern 1 for now until I release more updates and stuff and what have you. And then when you'll have these 16 effects, and then you'll just switch parts. So part 2 has these effects. So like this is one of the new effects. So this is a new effect on the template. I think that was clipping. Let me see. I think I was clipping, y'all. Bring that down a little bit. So yeah, so what it will be 64 effects. It won't be truly 64 effects. It will be 64 scenes, but some of the scenes are going to be identical because when you switch from part to part, you don't want to have to switch back to part 1 just to use a low pass, high pass filter, which you're using all the time when you perform. So there's some things that will remain the same. All will be on every single part. So there'll be 4 versions of the same thing on all. And A, B, C, and D might also be on all of them, I think maybe. But a high pass and low pass filter will be on every single part. So there will be at least these 3. So I don't have to design as many effects as I originally intended to because it's just not going to be viable to not have high pass, low pass filter and the recording of all on every single part of the template. Just that's been my experience so far as I've been building it out. What I need is ideas. But what's cool is like I'm using effects I hadn't used before. Like I didn't really make use of this effect much. That's actually the stereoizer. Let me see where it's at. I'm sorry, not stereoizer, spatializer. So this is the spatializer effect, and it's spatializing the percussive side. It just sounds like a really short time on a stereo delay. It sounds awesome. It almost sounds like comb filters, but without any sort of pitch, really. It's still very atonal, which is what I want it to be. I don't want it to generate a pitch and take you out of the other harmonies that are included in your performances. Did you sidechain compress your voiceovers? I did not sidechain compress the voiceovers. Wait, let me see. Did I? Let's go back to the track I had that on. No, that's this track. Time. I think about time all the time. That's what I'm saying. And for those wondering what I'm saying. And what I'm doing, the way that voice was constructed is on track 8 of my Digitakt, I have I'm doing time stretch. Or I'm doing the time stretch, which is similar to granular synthesis on your Digitakt. It's pretty easy. I have a tutorial on it on my YouTube channel if you're interested on how to do that. But so it's some distortion, some time stretch. Here we go. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. I'm pretty much finished with the song, and I'll do a release video on my channel here, where I perform it out as best as I possibly can. Often I have to perform it like a lot, many times before I get a version of it that I'm happy with, which is my workflow. Instead of like tracking it into my computer and arranging it perfectly there, which would make the most sense. And I do recommend that's what you do, because I'm just a glutton for punishment. I just try and perform it the best I can, and I keep that version of it, and then I move on to a new song. As soon as I get the best version of my performance and I record a video, which also ends up being what I put on like SoundCloud or Spotify if I ever put it there. It's just that, and then I move on to the next thing. And that's kind of been my way of doing electronic music ever since I got into it, because I felt very stagnated by writing music and trying to have it be perfect as a singer-songwriter, which was my thing. You know, it's still my thing, but I would have a hard time releasing the music because it was so personal to me and so like emotional. I was so attached to it being realized in its perfect ideal. It's perfect ideal, I guess is the best way I could put it. I don't feel that way about this. I feel like I can have more fun and just record it and just give it to the universe and move on. Whereas my other songs don't see the light of day because they sit in my brain and stew because I'm so emotionally connected to them. Yeah, that's what a band would do, basically. Yeah, exactly. Just killed it live last week with your template. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Great Grandpa Beeb. You're not Gramps Patio, are you? Hanjo, just killed it. Okay. That's how crazy the OT is. Even Matt is still finding new stuff to play with in there. Yeah, I am. Nah, dude, I'm gonna find a bunch of new stuff. I'm making a ton of new effects. I'm really trying to push the envelope here to see what I can do with the Octatrack, because it has to process either the entire mix and sound good, processing the entire mix, but also be an effect that you could use live for transitioning from part to part and or just giving people a break. But it also has to be able to affect both of these elements separately and sound good. So like it's one of those two options. There's just a lot. There's a lot to work on. There's a bunch of effects that I don't really use much of. Like, let's take a look. So I'm playing with the DJ equalizer in this part of the template that I'm working on. The DJ equalizer is really great. The only thing that I don't like about it is that I can't change the curve of it enough. Like you can kind of set like a frequency point that I believe is at the tip of one of the bells there, but I don't know. I want more resonance with the DJ EQ. But anyway, let's look at some more stuff. So we'll go into FX2 to do that. So the plate reverb is really good on percussion because it has a gate, so you can do gated reverbs, and I think that's really cool, and I could definitely find some use for that, and I do plan on finding some use for that. So plate reverb's gonna get used, more delay, obviously. Lo-fi is annoying me because I feel like there's just very little room for doing anything with lo-fi. Except for the amplitude modulation isn't something I play with very much, but it's cool, and so I might use that as a tremolo effect. I don't know. Never going to use I probably won't use the compressor unless it's literally a sound shaping tool, not a mix tool. And that's just because, well, I mean, I guess I could I don't know. I think like if I set the compressor up, then I'd have to always have the compressor turned on. Otherwise, because it will just changes things in such a mild manner, but it would just make the music not right. So we're gonna leave the compressor out of it. I'd much rather compress it on the SSL Big 6, which is what's happening now. So comb filter is a good one to play with. The only problem with comb filter is that you typically have to find a note for your song. So comb filter as a master effect with instruments that are changing songs all the time is hard to use because I don't want to make notes. You know, I don't just want to make notes. I could have, like, maybe it was a diminished chord that the comb filter was creating, and it kind of just works in every mix because diminished kind of can do that, or whole tone kind of system. Anyway, Spatializer, I think is really great. I'm probably going to make a bunch of stuff with Spatializer. More stuff with Chorus, for sure. That's an easy one. Flanger and Phaser, super easy stuff. I should probably take advantage of that right away. And that's it. So that's all you get to work with. However, we have LFOs that will modulate anything we need to. We have recording buffers, so we can create effects with recording buffers. We have delays with buffers. We can create effects that run into a delay and then get looped that way. And then we have effects that can play with that delay's time in real time. So we can do some stuff with that, but will it sound good? I don't know. Delays are really, they're tricky. They're tricky little buggers. I definitely want to play with the phaser and the flanger. Probably the flanger first. I don't know. Let's see. Let's go to part 3. Okay. I don't want to hear that right there. But... What's on 3? Nothing. Okay. Drums, filter, spatializer. Let's go. No spatializer. Let's put that flanger on there. Play with that flanger. Clear that scene out. There's a feedback at negative 19. Okay. Like it already. Oh, this actually sounds so sick. Wow. All right. Be doing a lot more with the flanger. Like this one, so I want it to do So now we're gonna give this an effect, not lo-fi. Try the spatializer. Mono gain? No, let's go. Lock these in, and then we're gonna give it. Maybe we'll let it use some reverb for it. Switch this to a reverb. I'll use mix. Sorry, I just vanished for like 10 minutes there. I am really trying to get some work done, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm really trying to get this template going. It's gonna take a long time. Yo, all right, let's check on some people. Got any more ST effects bus tricks to show off? I do. I don't know if I'm gonna do that right this second though. I'm kind of in the zone. That's what the OT has become to me, a sick transition maker and looper. Yep, me too. That's what a band would do. Son Woo, what's up, dude? Keep on raving, thanks, will do. I think a great idea for Elektron would be something like the Roland MX1 for their... Yeah, everybody thinks that too, my friend. We all agree with you. Buy Cenk video and watch him explain how to use parts. Using parts is really simple. You don't have to buy the Cenk video. I mean, you can. Support Cenk. I love Cenk, so yeah, go for it. But you don't need to buy the Cenk video because parts are kits, and all parts do is change these machines out to another version of these machines and these effects, and that's it. That's all they do. So you just move through 4 different versions of what you have placed on these machines, their default values. So think of it like a drum kit. You know, the sequencer is playing the drum kit for you, and that's your drum kit. Something that gets past some of the limitation of the digiboxes adds a song mode transport. You know, they may add song mode to the digiboxes. We don't know. It's totally possible. It should be possible. Chris, how is Chris? What's up, Chris? Thanks for the tip. Appreciate that. Very cool. What did you say? You're in God mode. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Was telling me, a funny guy on the forum was telling me I didn't need to tape up my gear, and I didn't want to tell him. Sounds like you're a poser that doesn't use your gear. Ouch. You should make a wah pedal effect. A wah pedal effect. That's a pretty good idea. I'll have to do that. Fast LFO on a bandpass filter? We'll do that too. Michael Walsh, awesome music and plenty loud. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. Killing it, man. Love this. Sequences. What is the sample buffer live on part 2? Yes, I know what you're talking about, Isaac. You always bring some really good points to the stream. I do appreciate having you here for sure. I do know what you're talking about. He does some crazy stuff. I don't recommend doing what he's doing because it requires a massive amount of practice to do what he's doing, and he's doing that live, and he's literally remixing the record. So he's performing everything and then recording it on the first part, and then switching to part 2, and then changing his sequence around and switching the machines so that it's playing back those recordings that have all been sliced up. So it's super cool, and I've watched that video. I did buy that video a long time ago because I just needed to know what Cenk was doing because he's awesome. But I do think that is an overkill production thing, and that you're more likely to not like your Octatrack as much doing that because it's super hard. It's super hard. Yes, he sequences what's in the sample buffer live. We're all trying to bring it to the next level. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, totally. I will not argue that. And cheers, sparkling water to that as well. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just there is some easier ways to start before you get to doing that. Okay, I'm gonna get back to what I was doing. So I actually really liked this effect a lot. I don't know if I like what I'm doing on the Digitone side of things. I think I need a new sound. You can hear that gate on the reverb. Yeah, let's use this sound because I think it's going to cut through the mix a little easier. No. Okay. So far I don't like this. Maybe we could have it do some phase. Ouch. We just filter it. Let's do a DJ filter. Or maybe just a regular filter. Maybe we'll just go. Let's clear this. Clear this out. Let's go back here. And then we'll go back here. Put a dark reverb back on. I think that effect turned out good. Okay. A lot of variations, I think, of just like those effects that I already have designed would probably be pretty good. Reignite the gas for the Octatrack again. Honestly, I think there needs to be less going on for such a delicate sound to come through the mix. I think you're right, Robert. I think that was... But that's the thing. So you're right, but that's the thing, is that the idea of these effects have to work on all sounds. Always. Otherwise, they're not as useful. So I want them to always be applicable to what I'm performing. So it's like there's not a ton of wiggle room, but I figure I'll figure it out. I'll get it figured out, and I will accomplish my goal of making these preset sounds for the Octatrack. Oh man, that is a tasty drink. So let me just ask everybody that's here hanging out, what are you gassing for the hardest of all the stuff that you've seen at Superbooth? Like, what is the thing you're like, I have to have? Is it the OBX8? Is it the OP1 Field? Is it the Percon by Erica Synths? Is it the LXR Erica Synths module? Is it the Kicane from the people who did Polycinematic? I don't know. I would really like to know, though. I'm very curious what everyone else is getting stoked on. Because so far, the thing that I have been the most interested in has been the OP1 Field, and that's just because I don't know why. Just because it's pretty, and I'm a magpie when it comes to that kind of stuff. OBX8, yeah, OBX8. The problem with the OBX8 is its price tag is astronomical. Although I think once you have it, you'll probably never get rid of it. That's how I am with the Prophet 5 Rev 4 that I have. Rhodes Mark 8 looks like so much fun. Ooh, I haven't seen the Rhodes. Oh no, yes I have. Yes I did. I did see that. Oh my god, you're right. It looks so beautiful. That's something I would really like. Holy smokes. Poly Play looks really fun. I think so. I think the Poly Play, if you loaded it with drum samples, like specifically just drum samples for my workflow, and used it as your sequencer for everything and your modular, I think it would be really awesome. I don't know if it processes any effects into it. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. Table size keyboard for your OT on top. Yeah. The Syntakt. Yeah, the Syntakt is... Yeah, you can get a Syntakt. I guess they're sold out everywhere from what I heard. And the stimming fall into OBX8 and the stimming? Are you talking about Stimming's master effects processor that he made? I thought that's been available for a while. Or maybe that's not what you're talking about. OB6? Well, the OB6 is already a thing. I could maybe afford the stimming through its Big Sacrifice still, yeah. Yes. We are talking about that, right? The stimming, his Master Effects processor. The Eventide Seek. The Eventide Seek? Did they make a sequencer? Have I not seen that? The Eventide sequencer? What? What? That's crazy. Somebody throw a link to the Eventide sequencer into the chat here. I'll see if I can click on it. I'm very curious. Really want one of those Korg oscilloscopes. Yeah, those Korg. You know those Korg oscilloscopes are stereo inputs and also oscillators. So if you wanted to use it with your modular or something, you could. You could use it with your analog heat and make a synthesizer. You could take a Korg oscilloscope and run it into your analog heat, and then get a MIDI keyboard and you could make a synth. Yes. Okay, that is what you're talking about. Cool. Of anything that's coming out, I'll probably actually buy the Roland E4 voice box. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you and me both gonna get that Roland E4 voice box. I have the Roland VT4. I'm a sucker for vocoders. I have this set up over here right now. I loaned out the... Oh, I guess I got it back from my neighbor, but the TC Helicon Perform VE, which I have like... I can't pull it over here, but it has a gooseneck mic attached to it. And then I have my Keystep 37 in it's quantized keyboard mode, and so I just set it to the same key as what I'm playing these boxes in, and then I just talk or sing. I prefer to sing into the gooseneck condenser mic, and then I record vocal chops, or I chop the vocals that I make in the Digitakt, and it sounds really great. That's what this is. I'm on one, I'm on one. This is strong, this is strong, this is strong, this is strong. I'm on one, I'm on one. And that's supposed to go. Is that silent? I can see the trigger. Oh, that's right. Yeah, so the E4, really cool. I think all those Roland boxes are all really dope. All three of them. They're cool. Great place for people to start. Great travel boxes. That actually, the J6, the little Juno engine that has the chord generator and all that stuff in it, that has MIDI out. So you could use that as an inspiration box, like 100%. I totally recommend anyone doing that. If you have a nice polysynth or anything, any synth, use it, or just use the J6 as synthesizer engine, because it is the J6A's engine, which is a 4-voice engine. Sadly, not like the JX8 or the JD08, which both have, one of them has 32 voice polyphony and the other one has 22 or something, 24, some crazy number. But yeah, they're really cool. They sound great. They're Roland, so they sound amazing, right? Roland just keeps refining their sound. Eventide Misha. Okay, cool. I gotta check that out. I'm gonna watch that video after I finish streaming. I would also love that motor synth from Game Changer Audio. Yeah, that thing's really cool. I think Game Changer is one of the coolest companies around right now. I have the Plus pedal. I don't know if you're familiar with the Plus pedal, but it's like a piano sustain. Like literally uses a piano sustain pedal as the button that you press with your foot. But it's a sampler and it just holds sustain. And you can build chords and stuff. It's my favorite guitar pedal ever. Literally my favorite pedal ever made. And it would be hard to top it because it really makes you feel like you have piano sustain with your guitar. It's amazing. But that motor synth sounds really cool, and I have actually played on the motor synth. We had one at Patchworks for a minute used, and I got to try it. And it's super noisy. I don't know if they fixed that on the second one. And what I mean by noisy, I don't mean the stereo output's noisy. I mean the machine itself is super noisy. Those engines spinning, those little... So what they are, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but what they are is like these discs that are sitting on, I don't know what they're sitting on, but they can spin forever. They'll never like break. They'll spin for years and still be able to spin perfectly. So they really engineered it quite well. But it has shapes, like wave shapes on the discs. And then there's a laser that like reads the wave shape. And that's how they generate their noise. At least that's how the V1 generated their oscillators. So it's a really strange and interesting way and a very organic sounding synthesizer. But like I said, noisy to have in the studio. So if you had a microphone or if you're trying to track something, you may have to make sure you turn that thing off. Always. You couldn't just like leave it on. And I like to leave my stuff on because I'm a goober like that. Make a drone on the MC707 for all my songs. If I can figure out how to route all, a good way to insert a vocoder. Yeah, totally. That'd be sick. Honestly, little Roland era mini boxes look like a ton of fun. Yeah, the T8's really cool. It's got a 303 in it. And 606, 707, 808, 909 drums plus a 303. And it's the 303 from their boutique. Like, I don't know if it has overdrive, but yeah, sounds really great. I think I'd say the E4, some sort of tech where lasers could read vinyl. I'm not sure. They're really interesting engineers. They do some pretty wild stuff. There's no doubt. But I'm glad I got all these answers from you guys. It's very cool, and it's good information for me for my job, where I try and decide what's the next video to make for Patchworks. And now I know what everyone's stoked about. It's gonna be those Roland boxes, I think, for sure. Then you saw Doom 1993 in ray tracing mode. Oh my god, I saw that too. And like, I saw the Minecraft ray tracing too, and Doom. Or not Doom, I'm sorry, Quake. Quake Mine ray tracing looks so good. It looks so good. I love it. Yeah, I can imagine the Space Echo's tape machine makes a lot of motor noise. Having a bunch of motors spinning at audio rate is probably pretty loud. It is. It's not super loud. It's just like, you can just hear it. And it's not a comforting sound. You don't want it happening all the time. Laser turntables exist, but they're apparently not actually that good, but wildly expensive. Wow. Some wildly expensive stuff that isn't good sounds vintage. That sounds like the obsession over vintage. All right, I'm going to play a song. I want to play a song. I'm going to play this song from scratch and see if I can think of anything to add to it. So we're going to start off. No. I'm trying to figure out a good way to like start this song. That's probably it right there, I think. So what I have on the Digitakt happening right now is I have that vocal sample that I was showing you.
I'm on one, this is strong, this is strong, this is strong, this is strong.
And I'm saying, I want one, I'm on one, this is strong, this is strong. And then I chopped it up and turned it into this progression that's just like... And then there's some random jumps between that, and it just sounds like a chord, like a synthesizer, but it's actually my voice. Let's go to this engine here. Actually, I'm very, very fond of this song so far. That sounds pretty cool. Okay, let's make that really long. Yeah, let's put a note down. Trigger length, 60. Almost 64. Let's let it die out a little bit. Okay, let's try that. My dog is attacking the couch. Here we go. So this is low passing these machines, letting this play freely. My dog doing zoomies. Oh, you're so wet. You're so wet. This is my dog, Gemma. Okay, here. Have a dog treat. Feed it. Let's go. That is real bassy. Whoa. Get out of here. Let's do D sharp 5. I need that to have a little more depth, I think. Maybe that doesn't need to be so long. Wait a second. Let's put another one of these down. We'll make this go 1 of 2. One of 2. This one will be 2 of 2. And then we'll microtime it over to the left and we'll give it another note. This one a little to the right. this. Save this. Is it this one that's so loud? My dog keeps coming up to me for treats. Okay. Alright, let me check in with some folks. I think it's the lack of those algorithms they're so proud of. I can't stay. I just wanted to say Bazorp Azorp. Oh, what's up, Richard? Bye, bud. Thanks for coming by. How do you like the Roll and Go mixer so far? Oh, yeah. Got that right here. I mentioned it on the last stream I did. I have to say that it is the build quality is not ideal. These encoders don't feel great for me spending $100, but it does its job, and it sounds good. It just works. You just plug it into your phone, it just works. So I got no complaints, honestly, other than the build quality. But yeah, it's fine. I do recommend it. If you want to do social media posts and use your music gear on social media, fastest way to get that done is just to record it right into your phone instead of doing the whole uploading from your computer. It's such a pain in the ass. Holy smokes, what are you doing, Gemma? Sample the dog ruckus. Yeah. That transition was so good. Also, more doggo content? Yeah. I would like more doggo content. She's right here. Let's see. We could, well... Gemma, come here. Come here. Come here. Come over here. Want this? Come here. Pop up here. There she is. Can you say hi? Alright, beat it. Beat it, punk. Alright, let me, more chat here. I love that it isn't involving sausage. There are distinct sections he transitions to that makes it more interesting to listen to. That's the whole point of this setup for me. That's the chemistry I'm trying to use here, like the idea behind the writing is that was all just one pattern, but it didn't feel like one pattern because the Octatrack gave that pattern life. Because I wasn't just unmuting and muting and unmuting. Just unmuting and unmuting isn't enough for me. I mean, it's enough to play, honestly. You can get by with that, and people will still be like, your music's awesome. So, but if you want to step up your game, get yourself an Octatrack and use this to transition from part to part. You know, for instance, let's go back. Let's a lot of this is just practice. You guys are hanging out with me while I'm practicing a bit. Feed the mixer to the dog. Yeah. I can't do that. All right, let's mute some stuff again. I think I had an idea of what I liked. We're doing this, I think. Actually, that makes a good intro. So we could like do this. Start it off like, oh, this is actually a great intro. Maybe this is how I'm gonna record this song. I'm low passing these and leaving this on, so it's getting, no filtering. We start off this way, and then we can bring the drums in and the bass in here. We could start with this going. The hat in there. Let's do it again. So it's those 4. We're building up to it. That's might be able to do it better than that at some point. Some practice. That was too long. Maybe this needs to be quiet now. That's what we need here. Maybe not use these at the same time. So. This effect's not even doing anything now. I need to replace that. Let's clear that one out. Wait, maybe I don't want to do that yet. Copy this track, paste it here, copy this sound, paste it here, and let's change them. So I'm going to have them go in opposite places in the stereo field. coming back for more treats. Vocoder here. Oh, I see. This needs to go like this. This needs to not. Right? Let's see. Damn it. Damn it, I really want to sample me saying that. I really want that in my life. I really want that to be sampled. Everything crazy, crazy. Everything crazy. It worked. It worked. Let's do it. What do you want? Let's call it crazy. Craze. Box. Put on track 5. Excuse me? Everything crazy. Everything crazy. Everything crazy. Oh, wow, that's why. Everything crazy. Crazy. Everything crazy. Everything crazy. Everything crazy. Everything crazy. not smooth. I think that turned out pretty cool. I think I kind of want to put like I think I might put an LFO at the start of the second part of the sample so that it goes whoop crazy, like start the pitch lower and bring it up. Need a ramp and a one shot and a fade. Or a high pass with some resonance in. Oh, that turned out so good. Yes. I'm just catching up on the chat. I really need to spend next weekend exploring scenes again. Yeah, EZBOT, how do you go about sound selection? It's always the thing that takes me the longest when working on a track. I hate spending so much time auditioning things. I don't want to tell you about that one, my friend. Auditioning things is kind of how it goes. But also, if you already have something in mind and you understand synthesis, you know, it's just a general knowledge of synthesis, you can at least start in the area that you were thinking of, and then kind of just mold it as you go. That's the best way I can think of it. I often just will create a melody, and then I'll go through preset sounds in here, whether they're my preset sounds or preset sounds that are just on the Digitone from either a sound pack, well, from the default sound, because I don't have any sound packs on here yet, but so, and then I'll just audition that sequence, kind of like what I was doing here on the stream. Just I'll find a sound and be like, oh, I like that sound. And then I'll tweak it to taste, because it's unlikely that the sound that's in the preset is going to be perfect for what I'm doing. I'm going to want my own flair on it for sure. It's all in the details. She wants treats, Dad. She does want treats. She's being real good. Hey, you want a piece and a little treat? Here you go. I love my dog so much. It's crazy. It's crazy how much I like that dog. Yeah, this turned out really good. And I actually like what I was doing with the Digitone. Maybe this is it. Maybe we do the three boxes with the Octatrack as the mixed performance mixer. I feel like after today, I'm going to dig into my modular a little bit, though. I want to take a little break from this for a minute and play with my modular a little more, because I've bought a bunch of stuff I haven't used yet, and I really want to get to know that CV16. Start with a simple piano patch, and when you put in notes, try to imagine what you'd rather they sound like. Yeah, I think that's a great tip, actually. Nice tip, Isaac. This is so sick. Thanks, Jordan. So you do any additional processing when printing it into the DAW straight from the OT? I do. I mean, I'm processing it. I do master it. I have split EQ, which is a great plugin for mastering stereo tracks. Like it's a great plugin for mastering in general, or for mixing a stereo file, like a mixdown already. And then I EQ everything on the SL, my mixer, my Big 6. Hey, and I also have a master compressor in the SSL Big 6. So I do use the master compressor, and I do tweak it until it sounds just right. And then I print to the internet, to YouTube or SoundCloud. And that's mostly where my stuff goes at this point. I haven't gotten much further than that. I have a little bit of stuff on Spotify, but it's mostly live coding stuff. If you're not familiar with my live coding stuff, it's pretty weird. But it's still very musical. Can we see the dog? I did have the dog on here a little bit ago. I'm not in control of the dog. The dog comes when it wants to come. I do invite it over here, but she does have a mind of her own. My camera's glitching out. How dare you, camera? I need to get an SSL someday. Yes, it's really great. It really is. I do think that so I switched from an RME UCX to the SSL Big 6, and I would say that the workflow of using the RME versus the workflow of using the Big 6, the RME is a better workflow. The Big 6 is a beautiful, amazing sounding machine, and it's worth it for that alone, just because it's so nice. It's so wonderful to have. But the RME UCX, in terms of creating mixdowns, submixes for streaming, for doing all sorts of stuff, making video content, the submix stuff you can do on a digital mixer, not digital mixer, but the digital mixer in your computer, because it's... Oh, here's the dog. Come here. Gemma, come here. Here. People want to see you. Come over here. Come on. Pop up here. Pop up to the camera. Oh, she's sitting. Okay. Yeah, so I would say, like, if you're shopping for a new interface, I would get an RME. Either the UCX2 or UC2. You don't need to get the UCX. That one has effects and stuff. We don't need effects in our interfaces in 2022. Our computers can handle it, so we don't need DSP built into our interface. Whoa! You just pressed one of the tracks on the Digitakt, Gemma. Be good. Here. Go away. Go do something. It was that or the Apollo. Okay, yeah, or the Apollo. Yeah, 100%. Or the Apollo. RME or Apollo. I'm not sure how the Apollo's mixer works on the computer, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's similar and just as good, if anything. Okay. She took her last treat on her own. That's it, Gemma. There's no more treats for you. Well, the Big 6 is worth double the price, I would say. It does way more. It's an audio interface, which is what I'm using it for right now. It's get out of here. It's got way more channels. It has more compressors. Oh man. The Apollo was great, but I want an SSL physical EQ. Yeah. It's really cool. I had some money set aside for an interface, for a new interface, and I pulled the trigger, and I've been very happy ever since. I doubt I'll ever buy another interface again. I still have my RME. I'm probably not going to get rid of it. It's just small and it's amazing, so there's no reason for me to sell it other than to recoup some money. But if I'm not worried about recouping some money, I hold on to it just to have an interface of its quality that I can use. You could use it for live gigs, right? You could have your laptop, your RME, and process everything into your computer and do some effects that way, which I might do now that I bought a MacBook Pro a little bit back. And now I feel like I could mix my computer into my setup because that laptop, actually, its battery life is insane. So you totally could play a show, process everything in your computer, and do that live with a decent interface. Use master insert for Pioneer to AB OT input. Yeah, that would be cool too. You know, when they first were talking about the TX6, the Teenage Engineering TX6, yeah, desk space for sure. Chris, I agree. Running out of space very quickly when we start doing stuff like that. The little TX6 is so small, though, could use that. It has a DJ mixer effects, and it can be plugged into a MIDI controller like the Fader Fox EC4 here, which is easily programmable, has MIDI learn and everything. It's just a piece of cake to program, and super powerful. And you can have presets saved on it. Like I have a performance template on my EC4 for the analog rhythm. I should just upload it for people to put on their EC4s. Jim, there's no food here. But you could use that with the TX6, and that might be kind of cool. A cool idea. Let me see. I need to see how long I've been streaming for. Because it may have been a very long time. Holy smokes. How long has it been? Oh, wow, 2 hours. Okay. Good golly. All right, let's play just a little bit more music, and then I'm gonna eat dinner and stuff. Let's see. God, that never works. This OBS chat thing is such a pain. Just be better. Be better, chat thing. Jorcom the Destroyer. I love that name. Jorcom the Destroyer. I gotta read your comment. When you create music, do you gravitate towards a specific genre or just jam and go with the flow? I just jam and go with the flow. Actually, I kind of do. I mostly make like electro, right? Like this one. So pretty melodic stuff. I like melody a lot. That's why it's hard for me to like really do good techno, because I find myself like just adding melodic content, and techno is very atonal and it has very little melodic content. So that's always been a challenge for me, is doing techno. But house music, electro, and like French house would probably be like the genre that I would like to be the best at. I love that sound. It's very Daft Punk, and that's kind of the thing that drew me into electronic music, was groups like that. But for the most part, I'll just start with an idea. So usually for me, it doesn't start with a genre idea. It starts with a sequencing idea. Like I'll have an idea. I'll go, okay, I'm going to make this track 5 steps, this track 7 steps, this track 9 steps, and this track 13 steps. And I will write music around that concept. And that will build my track. So I love thinking about things that way. Or I'll think about, this mixer setup, and I'll write music based on, drums and melody on this side, and then the effects that work over here. So it's always a plan to do with the boxes and what the boxes offer me, and they to kind of direct the music production, less like my thoughts about what I want to do. Unless I'm like really like, I'm going to try and do this genre. Like when I try and do techno and minimal techno, I really try to do those genres. I'll often go on YouTube and I'll watch other people, usually Ableton tutorials. Even though I'm a Bitwig trainer, I end up watching the Ableton tutorials just because Ableton's so much more popular. I'll watch an Ableton tutorial on somebody doing music, a certain genre, and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to emulate that, but on my hardware. That's actually where all of these performance effects, like the tape stop effect here. This is an effect that I designed in collaboration, actually, with Polarity from Bitwig. I was in his Discord and I was like, I want to make a tape stop effect. What do you think? And we went into the grid, and I like had my idea already there, and he helped me construct it in the grid when we were, just because Polarity's so fast. He was perfect to help me with that. Then I took that idea and I brought it over to the Octatrack and designed it here. And so I often do that with a lot of the effects. I will go on the internet and watch a tutorial in a DAW, and then I'll port the idea over to hardware, where I have a lot more fun with it. For me, of course, I'm always speaking for myself. Let's see. What else did I have on here? I think the track I've been playing for the last hour. God, that turned out so good. Okay, this will be the last time I do this. The last time, and I'm gonna let everybody go and do their day. But we sampled my voice using the KeyStep 37 into the TC Helicon Perform VE using the vocoder tune harmony section, but it also mixed my overhead pencil condenser mic, my Shure SM81, which is what I use for an overhead pencil condenser. It's about a foot from my mouth, pointed at my chest here. And it mixed those two, so we still have my voice unaffected by this brick of synthesis over here. Let's go back over to that track so you can hear it.
Everything crazy.
That's what it sounds like when I sing.
Everything crazy.
You can hear a bit of my singing voice.
Everything crazy.
And we put those vocals here, so now we're using our Digitakt. We got our Syntakt doing most of the heavy lifting, pretty much almost every other sound, and then we have a pad over on the Digitone so far. And we'll start the song off with this noise.
Everything crazy. Everything crazy.
And we're gonna do it like this.
Everything crazy. Everything crazy.
So I'm gonna try and perform this song, and then I'm gonna hop off stream. And everybody, thank you for hanging out with me tonight, and for sitting with me while I work on music and design effects. So what we could do is we could record a loop of this now. Just hit yes, and it will arm my record buffers. Okay. I guess that's all the sounds I have so far. Yeah. I think I need a second pattern. Once I get a second, I'll copy this pattern over on all the machines, and then I'll start working on a second pattern and something that really brings the energy way up. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Again, everyone, thanks for hanging out. If you're interested in getting the performance template, you can visit patreon.com/EZBOT, and that's where you'll find my template. I'm working on a new version of it with 64 effects. I have some sample packs on there too that I've made of some modular stuff, or a sample pack. I need to work on that too. Please join the Discord. It's very easy to find. It should be in the comments on my videos if you haven't gone there already. And if you would like lessons, visit ezbot.live and send me a message and see if we can get something cooking. Everyone here is great. Thank you for hanging out. I will catch you guys hopefully next Sunday. I'm trying to do this every Sunday. And thank you, everyone, for the nice comments. I appreciate it very, very much. I had a great time.